Good morning, everybody. I hope you are having a wonderful morning. Am I twisted on Facebook? There we go. I'm Melissa Nielsen with Waldorf Essentials, and I just want to wish you a happy Monday morning after the time change. I was dragging this morning. It probably shows in my little bags under my eyes. Anyway, this morning I thought we would talk about are you an agent or an object? So I just did this great workshop with a bunch of awesome women in Brentwood, California. That's a little northern California. And so it was women from the Bay Area, east of the Bay. And so shout out to all of you if you're watching and I saw you this weekend. It was so great to put faces to names. And if you are a Thinking, Feeling, Willing lifetime member, we also have a video in the Facebook group for it's not just lifetime, for all of Thinking, Feeling, Willing. There's a video in the Facebook group that talks a little bit more about agent or object, and I'm just going to touch on it a bit today because I think it's a really important topic, and it's one that we kind of don't talk about in Waldorf circles, but my reach expands beyond Waldorf circles. As a life coach, I do a lot of coaching on how do you get out of your situation. And so today, I'm just going to give you a little, this is a mini version of this. It's not going to be very long, probably our regular 10, 15 minutes, but I want you to think about, are you an agent or are you an object? And I want you to think about, what does that mean? So an agent is somebody that acts for others, that acts for themselves, that governs other things. And an object is something or someone that allows things to happen to them. So like a chair is an object. You can pick up a chair and you can move it, and the chair can't do anything about it. But you should be an agent. You should be living in a space of, I am in control of things. And that doesn't mean that you feel like you have control of everything. That doesn't mean that you're a dictator. That doesn't mean that your life is all rosy and happy all the time. But it does mean that you are the one who is you call the shots. And or you and your partner call the shots together. That would be a much healthier place. But really the space that I want you to get out of is sort of feeling like an object, feeling like things are being done to you, whether it be that your kids are out of control and you don't feel like you can get them under control, whether it be that in your homeschool planning, you just can't get your crap together. You just feel really bad about that because you don't feel like your lessons are going the way that you want them to go, or whether it be in your partnership with your spouse, or whether it be in your relationship with your in-laws. And it doesn't matter where you are and what situation we're in for that. Excuse me. But it does matter if you step back and if you're feeling put upon or that things are being done to you, then that's your cue that you have become an object. You have become somebody that is allowing things to be done to you. So I would like for you to get into a place of alignment with that, with being an agent, and with being able to feel good every day. Everybody has challenges, and the more and more that Eric and I have practiced being in alignment over the last few years, the more those challenges or those things that come up look like challenges rather than problems where the world's going to end. And we've had some pretty big ones. I had a stroke. That was a big challenge. His back has been injured for probably the last month and a half, and he's been working through that. We've had moves, and we've had premature babies, and we've had family that's not, cooperated, but it's never been this, oh, it's this problem. What am I going to do? Life is falling apart and it has nothing to do with temperament, because that was something I wanted to make sure in our conference in our workshop that I talked about. It doesn't have anything to do with temperament. It has everything to do with, I'm going to be an agent. And yes, certain temperaments can do that more than others. But I believe that every temperament can learn to be an agent. Every temperament can learn to use their will in an appropriate manner so that they aren't being put upon, so that they're not turning themselves into an object. So I would like it if you step back and you look at your life today, especially if you're down in the dumps and you're feeling like the world is coming to an end, your kids aren't behaving, and look at the whole situation and ask yourself, if you're having really major struggles at home where it feels chaotic, ask yourself important questions. Are you getting up before your kids? And even if you're not, even if you're in a place where you're going to tell me, lady, I cannot get up before my kids, then is everything in line the night before so that all you have to do is roll out of bed? And by that I mean your menu's in order, your planning for the school is in order, your laundry's caught up, your dishes are done. Like, is everything ready for you the next day? That's the number one piece right there that allows chaos to ensue in the home. So, and then if you've got kids with special needs, I feel your pain or your joy. That is something that you have to stay ahead of and on top of. And so if you've been a mom with special needs for any period of time, you sort of know that's something that you go, okay, I better stay ahead of that, because if I don't, things are going to fall apart. And so, are you staying ahead of it? Are you using oils or herbs or whatever it is that you need to be using? Are you using that on a consistent basis? Are you staying on top of that? Are you being proactive with that child? Are you holding the space really well, especially with that child? Because one thing that I know is kids that have special needs, they need you to hold the space like 1,000 times more than any other kids do. So are you in that space? Are you doing that? And if you're saying to me, I am so exhausted, I have not slept more than 4 hours in the last 2 years, then I want you to be an agent today. And I want you to either say to your husband, I need some time. And if you're not going to help me have the time, I'm going to find it somewhere else. I need some sleep, or I need you to give me this space, or you call your mother-in-law on the phone, or whoever it is, you find a sitter. Do not do not feel like you have to compromise your attachment parenting values in order to be an agent, in order to feel good, in order to rest the rest that you need. There are always options. So maybe it's that you have to figure out how you can bring in a few extra dollars so that you can have a mother's helper. And all of you have talents, all of you. And maybe you can do a little bit of mending and sewing on the side. Maybe you can take in some laundry for somebody that maybe otherwise has to go to the laundromat. Maybe you can do a trade with another mom. When I was a single mom, and even before I was a single mom, when I was still married to my ex-husband, I had 3 kids, and one of my dearest friends had 3 kids. And we would, so that we could do dates, and so that we could do, there was a lot of dating that was going on my end, but so that we could have alone time for the moms, we would switch kids. And that meant that I had 6 kids all at once, once a week. But it also meant that she had 6 kids all at once a week. And so, and when she had them, that meant I didn't have them. And I used that time to sleep. I used that time to plan. I used that time for, to get anything done that I didn't feel like I could get done with my kids around. And so find a friend. And if you've got friends and you feel kind of weird, just don't feel weird. Just because you don't know, they're probably in the same place you are. Just ask. Say, would you be interested in a child care swap once a week, or twice a month? And so really think about where you can find that time, because I promise it's there. Even if you don't think it is, even if your life is falling apart, I promise finding that time so that you can get that sleep is there. Working with a partner that is willing to help. I know a lot of dads just sort of act like, well, you're nursing, so there's nothing I can do. Well, that's a lie. Soraya was a preemie, and I was nursing, but when I was writing grades 2 and grades 3, the second editions, Eric just walked the floors with her. She was teeny tiny, and he knew I needed to get work done, and he just walked the floors with her. He walked the floors with her so that I could sleep. And when she needed to eat, he brought her to me. And sometimes he walked the floors and she was just crying and just sad. And all he could do to comfort her was just hold her. And that's just the reality sometimes. We just have to help dads get comfortable with that space, because she was going to be crying if I was holding her. So, at least if he came in and did that and helped me out with that, then I could get some things done. Or in some cases, I could just get some sleep. So, find ways, talk. And if you feel like you're falling apart and you cannot, you just think, I just can't think of anything, send me a PM. I'm sure we can come up with something. I am sure we can find you a way. Become an agent. Be an agent. Be an agent for yourself. Be an agent in your partnerships, and be an agent with your parenting. Take a hold of your parenting. There is zero reason for you to feel like your kids are controlling you. Waldorf especially, even though there's this, and I call it the AP lie, because I think there is Attachment Parenting International, and if you've not been to their website to actually read what attachment parenting is, then you need to do that before you say you're an AP parent, because nowhere in there does it say you should be a martyr for your kids. It doesn't say you should forsake your relationships. It doesn't say that you should be exhausted all the time. It is all about being able to reach your child and connect with your child. Nowhere in there does it say at the expense of. And it's sort of become a popular thing. I've watched it. I've been an attached parent for almost 20 years. And I was an attached parent when everybody just sort of introduced the laundry list. So they introduced themselves. Hi, my name's Melissa. I'm an attached parent, cloth diaper. We extended breastfeed. Don't do that. Just don't do that. You don't need to give your laundry list. Be the parent that you want to be, without being the martyr that sometimes goes along with that. Because you don't have to be. You can be an amazing attached parent. You can teach children how to have boundaries. You can raise them to not be crazy. You can absolutely take them and make sure that they get the movement that they need. You can fold in then that Waldorf piece into the attachment parenting. You can do all of those things without forsaking yourself, without forsaking your partnership. I've worked with so many moms that have said, my husband's just so ready to get my kids out of the family bed. We don't ever have any time together. And I go, there are other places in your house to have sex. There are. So find them. Find those other places. Challenge your husband. I want to be with you. This is our obstacle right now, because I want to provide them with a safe sleeping environment. But then back that up too, because a safe sleeping environment means that everybody around them is emotionally safe, because they feel it. Just like when we're pregnant and we're carrying those babies, and all of these studies that have come out about pregnancy and stress, and how we really have to work to reduce our stress during pregnancy. That is, you're still holding that etheric bond until they're about 7. It starts to feel like it's waning by about 5, but really, until they're about 7, it sort of feels like they're really attached to your hip. And so if you're sleeping with them and your partner's not happy that that's happening, or you're having angst and frustration because you're in the family bed, it is really better for them to be in a sidecar in your room, or for you to have them double bunking with somebody else, because you don't want that stress and anxiety that you're carrying to carry over to them. That's what breeds sleep issues. That's what breeds struggles. So, and speaking of sleep issues, there's an amazing book that I'm reading right now by Audrey McCallan. She's the lady who wrote The Extra Lesson, and it's called Sleep. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's only this big, because the print is like super tiny. But it's very anthroposophical. It's amazing. So she goes into the different stages of sleep, and how we need to have a relationship with nature, and we need to have our relationships in order, like not angst in our relationships, especially those ones in our home, and how we need to have a relationship with the divine. So, because those angels that come to work at night, they need to have that fertile soil with us, and so that when our etheric body goes for its nightly walk, it has this peace to it. So I want you to think about that. You know, if you're doing the whole the family bed thing, but it's not happy, an an unhappy family bed is not a good family bed. So I want you to really think about your sleeping arrangements and how everybody is happy. Again, that's all part of being an agent. You may have some things, some days where you're decoding these challenges in your home, and that's okay. That's totally okay. That is a huge part of being an agent. A huge part of being an agent is going, you know what? There's some things that are going on and I need to figure them out. And then write it out. So much better when it gets out of here and onto paper. It seems so much less overwhelming and daunting once we can get it on paper, because once it's on paper, then you can pick and choose. You can pull those things. You can go, okay, I can cross this off the list now, and oh, I need to add this thing to the list. It's so much easier than when you're trying to deal with it when it's the soup inside your head, and then it feels extremely overwhelming. So, my prayer for you today would be to work on asking yourself, am I an agent or an object at every turn? Not just today, but maybe this week. When you're feeling good and you're happy inside and you're feeling strong, then you know you're standing in that agent place. You know you're standing in that, and your strength, and that God realized inner source, alignment with source. Call it whatever you want to call it. All of those things are appropriate. You are standing in that space. When you don't feel good, when you feel like you've got knots in your stomach, you feel like you're down and depressed, you're not in alignment with that. You're somehow off. So it's about figuring out where it is that you're off. Don't overthink it. Just get back in alignment. And that comes from small actions, bit by bit, here and there, where you can actually get back into alignment with who you want to be and who God wants you to be, your inner self, goddess, source, all of those things, all of those places, all of those alignment places. Those things make you feel good. And that is really what I want for you. I want you to have joy in your homeschooling, and joy in your partnerships, and just joy in yourself at the end of the day. I want you to be able to lay down at the end of the day and go, you know what? I feel good. And that's my prayer for you. So if you have some struggles with that and you need a consult and you're one of our lifetime members or an annual member, please just drop me a note and we can arrange that. If you're not and you're new to our work, then you can grab me at waldorfessentials@gmail.com, and I'm happy to help you sort of sort through how to get a consult. If you are on Facebook, drop me a personal message. I'm happy to chat with you there. So I hope that even if you're exhausted and your feet are dragging, like, I don't know if you can see the bags under my eyes. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I traveled all weekend long, got home yesterday, but I still could have used probably like 4 more hours of sleep. But it's okay. Here we go. The week is beginning, and it will begin with me or without me. So I'd rather it begin with me, because I want to be an agent. So I hope that you have a wonderful week. And if you have questions, just drop me a note. Bye now.